Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. General Hospital spoilers for the next 3 weeks, July 27th to August 14th, show that numerous Port Charles people will face dangers, while others will have their lives upended, so there will be a lot of action on the ABC soap. Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, will have several reunions during the week of July 27th to 31st, including conversations with Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thibault, Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, and others. Carly may be disappointed that Jason did not contact her after his initial return to Port Charles, but she will understand why he wanted to leave and spend some special time with Danny Morgan, Asher and Tonizin. Carly will also console Jason after his terrible WSB jail, hoping that this is the beginning of a better future. Jason may end up informing Sonny that he wants out of the mob because he needs to keep Danny safe and prioritize his role as a father. Of course, fans will witness some pandemonium due to Drew Cain's Cameron Matheson Lake disaster, which Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, is to blame for. Giovanni Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, will save Drew and inform the Quartermaines about the tragic incident. Nina may claim Drew inadvertently rolled into the lake and expect Drew will lie for her once Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna, delivers the promised dirt. Brennan's pact with Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, will provide Nina and Willow Cain, Caitlin McMullen, with leverage, but Willow will also face inquiries from the PCPD regarding her connection to Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda. On another side, Serena Baldwin, now played by Kelly Kruger, will return to town, while Ethan Lovett, Nathan Dean, knows his past is coming back to haunt him. It appears that the introduction of Hudson, Troy Lund-Napel, the business executive, would prompt Ethan to inform Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens-Bruning, that he is fleeing Port Charles. During the week of August 3rd to 7th, Trina Robinson's Tabiana Ali, Stalker may make actions that set the setting for problems. Danger is on the horizon, although Trina may be unaware of it for the time being. Over with Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, he'll be concerned about Elizabeth Baldwin's, Rebecca Herbst, budding relationship with Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, and whether he'll lose the lady of his dreams. Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, and Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy, will also get overwhelmed with work at the legal firm, necessitating the hiring of a new employee. The week of August 10th to 14th will offer more deception drama, so Serena and Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, may collide. It might also be an opportunity to test Michael and Serena's chemistry, so does Jacinda Bracken, Paige Herschel, have reason to be concerned? Michael and Jacinda could be on the edge of breaking up regardless, as she'll go rogue on a Willow-related scheme soon. Although Jacinda will want to remove Willow from Michael's life, she may cause troubles for herself in the process. According to General Hospital spoilers, some love life shockers are on the way, so don't miss any upcoming romantic shakeups. Port Charles is set to face one of its most unstable periods in recent memory, with danger lurking in the shadows, long-buried decisions coming to a head, and several of the town's most watched couples under great pressure that will either strengthen or break their connections altogether. Over the next 3 weeks, the stalking threat against one of the younger residents escalates to the point where multiple people must go into protective mode, while major life changes reshape the futures of several core characters and romantic pairings face serious chemistry tests that leave few relationships unaffected. The most urgent source of dread is Trina Robinson. What started as a distressing collage of images found in an unknown location has soon escalated into a full-fledged stalking operation. The photographs, which were carefully organized and apparently taken without her knowledge, reveal a fixation that extends far beyond a casual interest in her burgeoning music career. As Trina and Gio Palmieri move forward with their recently inked record deal, the stalker's interest grows. Moments that should be celebratory, signing documents, discussing advertising plans, sharing quiet wins with Kai Taylor, are now overshadowed by an unseen force. Kai's former teammate Quinn has emerged at an oddly appropriate time, offering apologies and invitations to hang out while closely monitoring Trina. Record executive Simon has also come under fire after a private phone call in which he singled out Trina as the one to watch. Fans and characters alike are left wondering if either man is to blame, or if both are red herrings designed to divert attention away from someone with a longer, more personal history with Trina. Theories are already swirling, including earlier threats against Esme Prince and the remaining chance that someone thought to be long gone has found their way back to Port Charles. Trina is initially oblivious of the entire scale of the threat, focusing on her music and relationship with Kai. That innocence won't endure. Over the next few weeks, the Stalker becomes more daring, leaving more visible evidence of monitoring and driving those closest to her, Kai, Portia, Curtis, and Gio, into protective overdrive. Portia, who is already dealing with the early days of motherhood with her newborn baby, is caught between her professional responsibilities at the hospital and her overpowering desire to protect her daughter. Curtis, still suffering with the legal and emotional aftermath from recent events, adopts a more forceful protective position, putting their co-parenting arrangements' newly set boundaries to the test. The Stalker plotline does not remain isolated. It begins to intersect with other Port Charles situations, attracting law enforcement and generating potential for alliances that would not otherwise exist. While Trina's safety is in jeopardy, Jason Morgan's reappearance sends shockwaves throughout town. Jason has returned from his absence a changed man, and he is no longer willing to fall back into old habits. His chats with Danny show a parent committed to prioritize his son in ways he has never done before. Those priorities clash sharply with the expectations of those who once relied on him without reservation. Sonny Corinthos, Carly Spencer, and Britt Westbourne all learn the same unpleasant truth. The Jason they knew is willfully rewriting the rules of his life. The debrief meetings with Carly and Sonny are very intense. Jason puts old loyalty to the test, stating unequivocally that certain former duties no longer hold the same weight. Carly, who is still dealing with her tangled relationship with Valentine Cassadine and the lingering consequences of WSB-related secrets regarding Jocelyn, finds Jason's new perspective both liberating and aggravating. Sonny, never one to accept change lightly, fights back fiercely, causing conflicts that force both men to reconsider what their friendship truly means in this new chapter. Britt's reconnection with Jason has its own emotional significance. The two have a history, trauma, and a tangled almost romance that has been exacerbated by their separation. Their encounters over the next few weeks will be a true chemistry test, with moments of genuine connection interspersed with the realization that Jason's revised priorities may not allow for the future Britt had anticipated. Nina Reeves is going through her own set of huge life changes as her relationship with Jack Brennan progresses at a quick rate. What began as a strategic cooperation has grown into something far more intimate, and the two are now in the tumultuous middle stage of a new romance while being engaged in broader plans involving the black box and Valentine's actions. Nina's proclivity for rash actions clashes with Jack's more measured approach, causing tension that either strengthens or exposes fatal flaws in their relationship. Their chemistry is evident in private, but the public and criminal pressures they face threaten to transform every shared glance into a liability. When Nina goes to Jack for aid with a growing personal problem, their relationship is put to the test. Elsewhere, Ethan Lovett and Ava Jerome continue to develop heat, which Lulu Spencer has previously advised against. Ethan's willingness to ignore those warnings demonstrates the depth of the attraction, but the next weeks require both characters to consider whether the spark is sustainable or merely a harmful distraction. Ava's willingness to reveal certain facts to Ethan represents a watershed moment. Honesty becomes the ultimate chemistry test for the couple. Will the truth bring them closer or send Ethan running for safer ground? Concurrently, Ethan is struggling with an unexpected shock from his history, which may send him into flight mode, disrupting any prospective future with Ava and causing ripple repercussions for Lulu. Michael Corinthos exerts greater power in both personal and professional areas, perplexing Jacinda and straining the limits of various relationships around him. His bold moves involving family business and personal allegiance cause friction with Alexis Davis, whose own strategic moves put her at conflict with several players. Joe's statement shakes up the Quartermaine family, pushing Tracy and others to confront unpleasant truths regarding the next generation's choices. Brooklyn's defense of Danny in the face of external criticism displays her rising protective instincts, putting her marriage and family bonds to the test. Serena Baldwin's homecoming adds another layer of complexity. Her return to the scene coincides with Jason's reunification with Anna Devane, resulting in a web of overlapping histories and unresolved sentiments. Anna, who is still dealing with the psychological consequences of her recent ordeal as well as the residual influence of visions that may or may not be reliable, finds herself being tugged in numerous directions. Her encounters with Jason are weighed down by shared history and mutual respect, but both characters are in change, complicating any potential reconnection. Anna's reaction to certain truths is utterly unexpected, prompting her to reconsider friendships and personal boundaries. Willow's situation becomes increasingly dangerous. Already under great scrutiny, she must make decisions that will shape her immediate destiny and the futures of others around her, including Scout and the larger Quartermain and Corinthos circles. Elizabeth Weber continues to ask challenging questions, refusing to turn away from red flags that others may choose to ignore. The pressure on Willow causes several important life changes in the people around her, as loyalties are tested and protective instincts take precedence over past reservations. Valentine's dangerous operations with the black box and continued transactions keep the bigger criminal and political undercurrents active. His relationships with Carly continue to be a source of contention, particularly as Sunny works to undermine the relationship. Carly's resolve to defend her own and Jocelyn's interests leads her into conflict with many parties, resulting in a high-stakes setting in which every alliance is transitory and every secret has an expiration date. Romantic pairs across the canvas are subjected to simultaneous chemical testing. Aside from Jason and Britt, Nina and Jack, and Ethan and Ava, other relationships are strained. Cody and Molly continue to deal with the fallout from personal and professional pressures. Curtis and Portia's co-parenting arrangement, which was always rocky to begin with, is further strained by the stalker threat and legal problems. Trina and Kai's relationship is put to the test not only by the stalker's threat, but also by the emergence of people from Kai's past who may not be looking out for Trina's best interests. The combined effect of these narratives leaves Port Charles feeling more threatening and emotionally fraught than it has in months. The stalking effort against Trina serves as a dark thread, warning everyone that obsession may lurk in plain sight and that success frequently invites the worst kind of attention. Jason's drive to live differently challenges everyone who previously relied on the old version of him to adapt or risk falling behind. Couples who appeared solid are pushed to demonstrate their fortitude under hardship, while younger pairs learn whether their connection can withstand the harsh realities of Port Charles life. As the 3 weeks progress, expect confrontations that leave permanent wounds, discoveries that rewrite personal histories, and genuine connections that stand out precisely because they occur against such a stormy backdrop. The stalker will not be pleased with images forever. Jason will not compromise his new stance only to make others comfortable. And the couples under the microscope will either emerge stronger or shatter, reshaping the town's social scene for months to come. Port Charles has never been a destination for the faint of heart, and the next 3 weeks will serve as a stark reminder of this. The streets of Port Charles seldom remain quiet for long, and the next 3 weeks on General Hospital promise to be a never-ending barrage of tension, revelation, and emotional upheaval that will leave lifelong residents stunned. From the dark corners of a growing music career to the high-stakes decisions of returning heroes and the frail relationships of new and old couples, the stage is set for stalker-driven terror, irreversible life shifts, and chemistry that either ignites or crumbles under pressure. Viewers can expect the nuanced storytelling that has distinguished the soap for decades, secrets that refuse to be buried, alliances that form and break down in the same breath, and emotional reckonings that push characters to confront who they have become. The unfolding mystery revolves around Trina Robinson, whose rising star as a singer has suddenly drew the wrong kind of attention. After signing a record deal that presents her as a solo artist while negotiating the challenges of collaborating with Gio Palmieri, Trina becomes the subject of a disturbing collage of images. The photographs, which are meticulously placed and evidently obsessively collected, indicate that someone is observing her every step with considerably more than professional curiosity. Early suspects circle the new faces in her orbit. Simon, the record executive who worked hard to separate Trina and Gio, exhibited a domineering demeanor in their meetings and made cryptic phone calls that allowed for darker interpretations. At the same time, Quinn's return after years of blaming Trina for Kai's football injury adds another layer of unresolved bitterness. Even Kai himself cannot be completely ruled out if his past trauma has evolved into something more dangerous. Older threats from Trina's past, such as Heather Weber and the lingering shadow of Esme, raise the potential that this is not a new predator, but a familiar one returning. The stalking storyline is set to steadily intensify, with Trina initially feeling uneasy, then uncovering more physical evidence, causing her to determine how much to reveal with people closest to her while her work requires public awareness. The conflict between her ambition and her safety will put her determination to the test, drawing Kai, her parents, and her professional circle into the investigation, causing moments of suspicion that could jeopardize confidence among allies. While Trina's internal anxiety grows, Jason Morgan's return to Port Charles after a trip abroad with Danny causes a new type of shock. Jason, free of the confines that once defined him, arrives with a completely different perspective. The decisions he has made about how he plans to spend the remainder of his life are like bombshells to those who have waited for him. Britt Westbourne's reaction is swift and physical. Their reunion is far from easy, with the emotional weight of Jason's decision creating distance where there was once hope. Conversations with Carly and Sunny catch him up on what he missed, but they also push him to confront the gaps in loyalty and the ramifications of his previous sacrifices. Anna Devane's journey crosses with his again, providing a reconnection that is both familiar and packed with fresh meaning. Jason's focus has switched to Danny and a more peaceful living, but Port Charles has a way of drawing him back into the conflict. In the next weeks, he'll have to deal with family visits, work pressures, and the residual effects of the Cullum shooting that sent him away. His very existence alters power relationships, particularly those concerning Sunny's operations and the Quartermain family's continuous challenges. Jason's decisions cause significant life changes. Connections that appear to be fixed begin to realign, and characters who had built their expectations around his previous self must adjust to the guy standing in front of them now. Willow Kane's plot progresses in tandem, with her future hanging in the balance following recent events that have left her shocked and increasingly isolated. The legal and personal pressures rise as Michael claims more authority and people around her openly doubt her judgment. Ava Jerome's willingness to expose tough realities to Ethan Lovett adds another explosive aspect, with the possibility for both confrontation and surprising affection, despite earlier warnings. Ethan's own path includes major news delivered to Lulu and the entrance of a strange businessman named Hudson, who appears keen to track him down, driving Ethan into flight mode and testing the limits of the relationships he has begun to make. Individual crises feed into larger shifts. People who earlier operated with relative assurance must suddenly make decisions that will shape their role in Port Charles for years to come. The couple chemistry tests spread over the next 3 weeks present some of the most intriguing emotional stakes. Nina Reeves and Jack Brennan's relationship grows stronger as they handle the black box probe and the threats it poses. Their burgeoning friendship provides a counterweight to the pandemonium, but it also puts them in the sights of Valentine Cassidy's most recent moves. Valentine makes a planned agreement that offers him leverage, while testing the loyalty of those who have worked with or against him. Carly and Sunny's contacts with Jason drive them to confront old scars and new realities, their history of passion and conflict simmering beneath the surface, even as other relationships require attention. Jason and Anna's reconnection carries the weight of shared history and mutual understanding, creating concerns about whether their relationship will endure the practical pressures of their contemporary life. Elsewhere, Trina and Kai jump to quick conclusions about Drew's actions, straining their relationship even as they attempt to recover. Joe's declaration shakes the Quartermain family, causing ripple effects that strain ties and compel painful confrontations. Michael's relationships perplex Jacinda as he asserts power in ways that could either stabilize or further disturb the individuals who rely on him. Serena Baldwin's return adds new vitality to the canvas, interacting with Jason and Anna's stories and surprising those who least expect it. Tracy Quartermaine is caught off guard by developments that call into question her carefully maintained control, whereas Tristan sets solid limits that signify his reluctance to be lured into old patterns. Rocco's apprehension rises as family secrets and prior cover-ups threaten to unravel, putting Dante in situations where guidance and painful facts must be carefully balanced. Elizabeth Weber seeks advice from Dante as her own issues emerge, while Brooklyn defends Danny vehemently as the younger generation encounters its own set of challenges. These threads don't exist in isolation. The Stalker threat against Trina produces a sense of fear, influencing how characters move across public and private locations. Jason's life-altering decisions prompt others to reconsider their own paths, whether it means pursuing new romances, abandoning old ones, or taking career risks with personal consequences. The chemical tests act as pressure cookers. Certain pairings will hold up under scrutiny, while others will disclose flaws that no amount of history can conceal. Valentine's deal-making, the lingering presence of people like Sidwell, and the fallout from previous schemes ensure that no victory is without repercussions.